So we got to go ahead and talk about Melyssa Ford. It seems like she might be a little jealous at the idea, or not really too welcoming of the idea, of another female co-host being added to the Joe Budden podcast lineup.
Let's hire some girls. The only reason we have it is because you keep saying no.
And let me fucking tell you why. You know what? How about this? If I could pick her. Kind of like in a threesome, where the girl, the rules are I pick her. No, that is.
What type of person would you pick?
My fear would be that you guys would get a motherfucking pick me in here who would go against every single thing I fucking said just for the sake of whatever. Being contentious, being confrontational, being intentionally combative just for the sake of whatever. Disarming me, diminishing my. Huh?
Why would we? I generally agree with some things like this, but why would anybody
exclude you?
No, I don't mean that. I'm saying why would anybody ever want that to be the case? Like, what would we get out of that? You exclude him? Yes, I'm not like you. You troglodyte?
He's a new addition. I'm basing this off.
That's why you count me. And don't call me things that I can't spell.
Shout out to Mark Lamont Hill and Imani. They both kind of were the comedic relief of this. With Ian, the word troglodyte, and Mark, as soon as, Mel said something about a threesome, his eyes opened up again on the pod. And if you want to wake somebody up, just mention threesome around Mark, and he's all ears. But to what Mel said specifically, her wanting to choose somebody, I think could be a little bit problematic, because you want somebody who would damn near be a yes girl, who would damn near agree with any little thing you have to say. And that's just not going to happen. And to be fair, I don't think Joe's going to go out of his way to pick somebody who's going to disagree with you all the time. I think he'll pick somebody who's more fair and balanced, that will disagree with you sometimes and, agree with you sometimes. Because there do be a lot of times where I don't really think she says nothing that crazy, but it do be sometimes she is talking crazy. And the couple times she has talked crazy, the first one being the whole Cam and Mace incident, which landed her and the whole podcast in hot water. And most recently being very antagonistic towards DDG. She would be able to sit there and check her and be like, hey, Mel, I don't know about that, honey. That's kind of, Who would be another good addition to the podcast? Some people may argue somebody like Paradise Paris would be a pretty solid voice, and considering she has a strong backing and following on Twitter, I think she would be able to make for great conversation, and she would be able to push back against some of the stuff that Melyssa Ford has to say. Not only that, but honestly, I think somebody like Milagro would be an ideal candidate to sit next to Mel, or to kind of sit on that couch next to the guys and kind of not only put her in check, but put the guys in check when they need to be put in check sometimes, especially Joe. Because there do be some times where the pod may not have all their facts right, but that's when Milagro can kind of chime in and be like, well, actually, I know a little bit more about it, this, that, and the third. Now, of course, with current legalities being the way they are, she's in this ongoing lawsuit with Megan Thee Stallion. I don't think, they would have her on the show. I think depending on the outcome of that trial, which I don't even think it's going to be a trial for real, but you get the idea. I think that if Milagro ends up winning that case, which I think it'll be a slam dunk case, more than likely, Joe would give her a look to be the extra seat to the pod. If she was to somehow lose that case, which I don't think she will or see how, then I can't see a situation where he would bring her on to the pod. Now, granted, they've had their own separate issues with Joe bragging about being happy she was getting sued, which was crazy for him to say at the time. But I would assume that at this point, it's water underneath the bridge, or I would at least hope so. And I think it would make for great content. And she would be one of the prime voices who I think would be able to really push back against some of the stuff Mel says. Because in the instances that I proved, she probably would have sit there and be like, Mel, what the heck are you talking about? She wouldn't be able to let her get her shit off. But knowing how Melyssa Ford is sometimes, she may think that if a woman's being too pushy against her, she'll think that the whole room is ganging up on her. I do think that there are some times where Milagro and Melyssa can agree on some things. I honestly could see that be a possibility. Even if the room don't agree with what they're saying or what Mel is saying, I think that there will be some pushback for each other. That's what makes for good content and good conversations, is when y'all have a fiery debate about a heated topic. It ain't gotta always be an argument or always be a debate. It can be some things y'all agree on and be some things y'all don't agree on. But fingers crossed, she would be a welcome addition to the podcast if Joe was to give her a look. But y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.